Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Billy. It has been a while since I last posted a video, so I hope you have been well. And the reason for my absence is that I had a baby. And so I had a baby girl, and so let me introduce to you my daughter, Emmanuelle Georgette. And so here she is. So Emmanuelle, or Emmy, was born in Connecticut in early February. So she is now 3 months old. So what happened was we returned to my home state of Connecticut shortly after COVID broke out. And so that's why baby was born in Connecticut. And I am incredibly happy with how the entire process went, even though it was quite different from what I originally anticipated. So what happened was originally I was going to be induced at 39 weeks exactly on the exact date, which was on a Thursday. But and then on the Tuesday before, I had my final appointment with my obstetrician, my OB, before the induction. However, on Monday night, when I was going to bed, I noticed that I had not really felt any fetal movement all evening. And normally, the baby would be most active during my bedtime. And so I was getting a little concerned. And then so I really did press down on my belly. And then I did get a faint response. And the next morning, things seemed to be normal. And then I went to my OB appointment. So I mentioned to my OB. And my OB didn't like the sound of it. And so I had a non-stress test, which is a 30-minute charting of the fetal heart rate or heartbeat, and also an extended ultrasound session, and everything turned out fine. But my OB told me that she would discuss with the OB at the hospital where I had been getting the fetal scans for her. So strangely, that's just how it worked out. Like for me, all my scans was done at my OB's clinic, but for all scans for the baby, it was done at the local hospital. And so anyway, and then I knew I needed to stock up, so I actually went to Costco to stock up on food. And then when I was pulling out of the parking lot at Costco at around 5 p.m., I got a call from my OB that I should check in to the hospital in a little shortly after 6:30 because they did not want to wait. They would induce me right away. And so off I went. And then so I quickly packed my bags and then dropped off my dog with my friends. And then off we went to the hospital. And that was not going to be induced right away. So Tuesday night, it was quite uneventful. And then same thing with Wednesday morning. And then originally I had planned to finish my work by Thursday. And so because it was 2 days early, I had one last agreement that I needed to finish. But I didn't pack my computer with me when I went to the hospital. So my work partner went to my house and then grabbed my laptop, and so was able to finish the agreement while in the hospital waiting to be induced. So that was a little funny. So anyway, so Wednesday night, that's when the induction began in earnest. And then it was kind of funny. I had no preconceived notion of whether I would get an epidural or not. It's just whatever was needed. But then I did know I would most likely have one because I had a fairly low threshold for pain tolerance. Anyway, so then I called the nurse. I said, I think I needed one by now because it was starting to hurt quite a lot. And then she was saying, like, if you can still talk, you're not there yet. Let's wait a little bit. But I did need to give her about a 1 hour lead time because of the busy schedule of the anesthesiologist that evening. So anyway, so then at about I think 3 a.m. in the morning, I decided, okay, I really, was really hurting. I really couldn't talk much anymore. So, so that's when I called the nurse, and then, then an hour later, I had the epidural, and then immediately I felt quite relieved. Oh, okay, so much better. Sorry, I had to switch over to a bounce ball, so Emmy would kind of settle down a bit. So anyway, but then the nurse came in and turned off the Pitocin, which was the hormone or chemical that would cause a contraction because the baby was not tolerating the contractions well. And so they turned it off. And by about 9:30 Thursday morning, the doctor came in and told me the labor was not progressing and the baby was in distress. And so, we needed to have a C-section. And so it was okay, fine, even though it was not originally what I had hoped for, but it is what it is. And so immediately I signed the consent form, and off we went to the operating room. So from the time I signed the consent form to the time when my daughter was born, it was about 25 minutes. It was like bang, bang, bang. It would just like happen really quick. But luckily everything went well, and I'm incredibly lucky that the doctor on duty who performed the C-section was an incredibly experienced doctor. And so everything went well. And so she was born, and so here's a picture right after she was born when they put her to my chest. I originally didn't feel like I felt anything, but then I looked closely at the pictures, and then there were tears in my eyes. So clearly I felt something, even though at the time I think I was in a bit of a shock because from everything happened so quickly. But anyway, it all went well. And so then they wheeled me out of the operating room to a recovery area right outside the operating room, just to see how my body, is recovering for a couple of hours, in case I need to go back to the operating room. But everything went well, and baby, they had me nurse her right away, and she latched on very easily. So I am very lucky in that respect. The first night at the hospital after my C-section was quite difficult because it was quite painful, even though luckily the pain was easily controlled by a combination of Motrin IV and acetaminophen. But anyway, I was incredibly touched by the nursing staff at the hospital because they were so dedicated, especially the night nurse for my first night, because I really couldn't walk at all, and so she would, prop me up and walk me to the bathroom, and she would, change me and, clean me up. I mean, that is incredibly, that is dedication, and so I was incredibly grateful for that. And then the hospital staff, this is Greenwich Hospital, and so was incredibly helpful. And really just, I could not have asked for more. Yeah, hold on, baby. Hold on. Okay. Wait. Okay. Mommy bounce you. Okay. And yeah. And so then after staying 3 additional nights at the hospital after the C-section, we went home. And my life as a mother officially started. And so it was so funny. I couldn't believe how naive I was. Originally, I thought that, okay, you would just feed the baby and then play with the baby and put the baby to sleep, But turns out the baby had a different idea of her own. And so it was incredibly demanding in the sense that she wanted to be held the entire time. So originally I really felt overwhelmed. And then, originally I had a stay-in nanny for 1 month, and then she helped me out a lot, but she was not the right choice at all. So after 1 month she had to go, and then I switched over to having mommy's helpers in the morning, so I could I could do, actually work and do other things. I mean, the thing is, I have been so busy at work. I started working within a week after I gave birth by C-section. That's just how crazy it was. But luckily, it was manageable. So I was able to just start working, and it has been incredibly busy at work. But I'm just working from home. And so that's how things have been for the last 3 months. It's incredibly hectic, but also incredibly fulfilling at the same time. In addition to the update about the baby and my life, I do have a dress to share with you. And it's this dress here that I made using 100% cotton that I purchased from Joanne using the very easy Vogue V9198 that I talked about in my last video. So originally, the idea was that I would wear this dress home from the hospital. Then I quickly realized that there was no way I would fit into this dress right after giving birth, because I actually gained quite a lot of weight during my pregnancy. I gained over 50 pounds during the pregnancy, and it was not because I was eating junk. Somehow my stomach was like a bottomless pit. I was just so hungry all the time, but I was very careful about what I was eating to make sure whatever I ate was, nutritious, etc. So anyway, so here is a video of this dress, and in this dress in this version I did add the pockets that also come from the pattern, and so it's actually quite cute. But right now in May is too warm to wear this dress, so it will have to be set aside for now until the cooler weather returns. And most likely will also wear this dress with a belt just to give myself a little more definition. I have lost most of the weight, so I only have about 17 pounds to go to return to my original pre-pregnancy weight. However, because I am breastfeeding my daughter exclusively, so because she was allergic to formula. Originally, I supplemented with some formula because my production was not enough, but she became highly allergic to it and was having bloody diapers. So then originally we saw 3 doctors and 1 specialist, and none of them could offer me really any definitive diagnosis other than to keep changing the formula. And one doctor even suggested that I stop breastfeeding and just go on formula exclusively, since we didn't know at the time what she was allergic to. I couldn't help thinking that was kind of dumb, and because by the time I had been dairy-free, soy-free, nut-free for 1 month in my diet. And so I just had trouble believing that my daughter would be allergic to my milk, because, what did people do before there was formula? So anyway, so I decided to discontinue the formula and to breastfeed exclusively, and she had not had a bloody diaper ever since. So that was a huge relief for me. So this is what I have been up to for the last 3 months. And so I hope you have enjoyed today's video. And as tomorrow is Mother's Day, so I would like to wish all the mothers in the world a very happy and very safe Mother's Day. And to me personally, because it is my first Mother's Day, so it really did feel special. And my daughter did give me an early Mother's Day gift because she slept so well last night, and also early this morning, so I was able to get some errands done, especially because we will be moving to our permanent home shortly. So she will grow up like me, with a yard and all that in the suburbs, and that's what I want for my daughter. So I'm very happy that we'll be moving to our home shortly. So anyway, on that note, I hope you will stay safe, be well, and I hope I will see you soon. Bye-bye.